Hey guys, this is Mark from Android Coliseum. I'm here to do a review of the Sony Xperia Z. This one is an exclusive to Bell, but Sony was nice enough to go ahead and send me a demo unit so I can give her a run through and let you guys know how it is. So I'm going to do a little bit differently this video. I'm going to segment it up so that it's a little bit better structured. So yeah, I'll just jump right into it. First up, we'll go with the design. So yeah, the design is one of the main things that Sony is well known for. They always have very good designs, very good build quality, and this is no exception. This one is basically what it is it's got glass on the front, glass on the back, and it has some glassing around the edges here. It differs from the ZL. The ZL has a plastic back, and it's not waterproof. So this one is actually waterproof. It's IP55 and IP57 certified, which means that it's dust resistant. It can take some dust and some sand, and it can also take up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes. The Z Ultra, I think, is going to have IP58, which gives you more than that, but this one can go up to 1 meter water, which is still pretty good. As a demo here, I'll do a little demo a little bit later on, but I'll go over the stuff here. So on the right side here, they have the power button, which has become standard for Sony phones to put them on the side, and this big round, or this little round button there. They have the volume rocker right underneath it, and absent from this one that the ZL has is it's a power shutter, which is beyond, or a camera shutter, which is beyond me why they didn't include it, because when you want to take pictures underwater, the screen doesn't work. But I'll cover that a little bit later. On the I don't think it has anything here. Oh yeah, it does actually. On this side, it has a little port for the SIM card. It's a micro SIM. On the top, it has your headphone jack. So yeah, the headphone jack is also covered by a flap. And on the left side, there's a micro SD card here, and then the USB port here. So let me just pop those. So here's the USB port, and here's the SD card. It works. They work pretty well. You just have to make sure they're flush, because the water resistance does rely on these flaps being closed and flush. So if you're gonna get it wet, or if you're not gonna use the ports, make sure that they are closed up. It's actually not bad. It closes up quite well. It doesn't get stuck or anything, so I've had no problems with it. They also have their little docking pins here for charging, so you don't have to worry about. I guess this is a waterproof design as well. It also has a speaker is actually right here. It's not a great speaker. It's not very loud. It's okay. I mean, there's better ones. Like if you really want a good speaker, the HTC One is what you want to do. This one doesn't. It has a front-facing camera here, and it has a rear-facing, and this one's a 12 megapixel rear-facing camera with an LED flash underneath it. It also has NFC, and you can see the NFC sticker here. They have an NFC sticker. I guess it's good to have it to let you know where it is, but in general, it looks kind of tacky. So if this is my phone, I'd remove it after I know where it is. It has the mics here and a speaker mic here and a speaker here for listening. Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and show you guys what you probably want to see. So I'm going to do the dunking now. Now we do have to sign a waiver, but they did give me the go ahead to do this, so don't feel too bad. So here's a phone. I'll just power it on here, and I'll go ahead and dunk it. Oh, there you go. And it works. You can probably try turning the camera on. There's a camera now. I can access it from the lock screen. I should do music. So yeah, it's playing music. Now this touchscreen doesn't work underwater just because it doesn't. It's like getting touched by a million fingers because it's capacitive. So because the water's on there, you can't really, it doesn't register any clicks. So um, you have to get it out of the water for it to actually work. So it's playing. So yeah, there you go. Now it works. It still runs and everything, so there's no problem with that. Spilled a little water here. Here you go. The screen is a 1080p LCD screen. It's not the greatest screen. The viewing angles are actually pretty bad. So if you're straight on, it's not too bad. But as you get, at an angle, it gets kind of quite washed out. And even just comparing to other phones, in general, it does seem really kind of washed out. So this isn't the greatest screen. Although, if you really are really want a good screen, then I would hold out, maybe see what I like. Their triluminous display is supposed to be really good, so I'd hold out and see what the triluminous display is all about. Other than that, though, it is still quite a good screen, and the 1080p can, they do take advantage of it very well. They do have a mobile Bravia engine and mobile Bravia 2, which is supposed to make pictures and everything look better. But I guess it looks not bad, but it's nothing that I would call home to. One thing I did notice about it is the design is really nice. It's a premium design, but the ergonomics are not great on this phone. What I mean to say is, it's kind of, it has the bit of this plasticky edge here that splits between the glass on one side and the glass on the edge, and there's a slight ridge there, and that's good because it keeps, when you put the phone down either here or here, it keeps the glass from touching the counter, so only the edges touch. The problem with that, though, is holding it. It kind of digs into your palm a bit. So it's hard to see how it works, but whenever I've been using it, I find that my hands get a little bit sore from holding onto it and from using it. And I'm also used to an Nexus 4 too, so the size is a bit of a upgrade. It took me a while to get used to the size, but I have gotten a bit used to it. But still, the ergonomics of it poking in is not that great. So hopefully they fix that on the future ones where they take more rounded corner. Like, I mean, the Nexus 4 feels great. It's, you hold it and it's smooth and everything. So if they want to, if they should probably improve that just to fix it up, just because it's kind of annoying. Also, yeah, what is annoying is the flap for the headphone jack, because I use that quite a bit. Although I have Bluetooth headsets now, so it's not as big of a deal anymore. But this, for people who do use it a lot, this would get kind of annoying, I think. So. It's good that in the Xperia, the Z Ultra, they got rid of that. So, other than that, most of the other flaps are not a problem. You don't access them. Maybe the micro USB, but it's not that big of a deal. It also does seem to have, I think it has a little hole here. If you can kind of see, and I think it's could put a strap if you want. So I know in Japan it's very common to put straps on the phones, so they have that in here. But I didn't really use it, so. Anyways, so that's the design. It's quite a good design, but it's not really ergonomic or comfortable to hold. But it's still, I don't know how much you're gonna variation you get it with all of them. So now we're going to talk about the actual software that comes onto it. I did get a chance to try the ZL earlier, and that gave me 4.2 like right away. So I didn't have to worry about that. This one does not come. This one did not come with 4.2, and I didn't even get it during the process. So it's kind of a bit of a sad thing. I kind of wish I would get it, because after using 4.2, there's a lot that they improved on that you can't tell with in 4.1, or that you kind of miss. So, but in general, I'll just go over the OS in here. The OS is pretty close to stock. It's not very different. There's not too much stuff they've added like HTC or Samsung did. It has the aesthetics are slightly different. They still use the hold to edit, so you can go in here and then you can add widgets. I didn't really I liked how stock did it, after gingerbread and everything, but actually now their implementation of it is actually not too bad. So you can still have a preview of all your widgets, and you can go back and everything. Shortcuts to apps. You can change your wallpapers here, and you can have themes, which is kind of independent. This is kind of new for, or Sony does this one specifically, where you can have different themes. So, say you are kind of like, oh, I want to have sapphire, and what it does is you click that one, and then it changes the background. It changes all the accents. So stuff like down here now, the colors is a little bit of a I don't know, colorblind, so it's hard for me to tell, but it's a more of a bluish color. And also your lock screen changes too. So now you have a new one that goes with the theme. If you go into the app drawer, it's a little bit different too. It has the alphabetical structure. Obviously you can't go all the way to your apps or anything, or all the way to your widgets. Sorry. You can set your own order, so you can have you can organize it however you want to. You can also, I think you can set folders in here too. Yeah, so you can have folders done. So you can have folders as well within this one. So if you want to really clean up the organization, you can do it that way. It also sorts by most used and recently installed. So it has several different ways to sort it. It does come with quite a bit of Bell and Sony bloatware. The Sony stuff is so far not as bad for me because I use a lot of Sony apps like Music Unlimited, Video Unlimited. I use those ones. It comes with Track ID, which is kind of their own variation on Shazam or SoundHound. It's not as great. I think the better one is still SoundHound or Shazam. They have a lot more features into it. What else do they have? They have an FM radio, so you plug the headphones in and it uses the cord to give you an FM radio. It also has your PlayStation Mobile on here, so if you have other Sony devices, or I think HTC is also in on it, or if you have like a PS Vita or whatever, then you can all have them work together. Yeah, the Xperia Link, that one covers if you want to connect to a Sony tablet. I haven't really made much use of that. It's kind of a shortcut. I don't think it's that useful. In general, that's kind of what they have for the Sony side of things. Bell has their own assortment of stuff on here. They got you got with McAfee security. Don't really need that. Tunes and apps. Their self-serve 100% HD games. Bell TV. So they have their own assortment of stuff on here. So that's kind of what you get. But with the higher levels of Android, you can disable these apps, so that's not as big of a deal. What else is there? The notifications, they're set up as a quick settings up here, and then they have the clear as well, so you can clear away. You can't. This is one of the things that I miss with the 4.2s. In 4.2 you can adjust, you can add and edit to these ones. In 4.1 you still can't do that, so that's kind of a downside. To that. It does have in their Xperia, so here's the kind of their own settings. They have My Xperia, which is your way to, it's kind of like the location, Google location, I don't know, whatever it is. But it's the one that's supposed to track or wipe your phone. So they have that one on there, and they came right before Google came up with theirs. I haven't had it. I've used it a little bit, but I haven't done anything like wiping. So maybe I might give that a try when this phone is basically done. I might give it a try and do the wiping and see how well that works. Let you guys know, and I'll include that in my review. It has Miracast in here, so you can do mirror linking with your other devices, and it uses DLNA support. That's a lot of what Sony is big on, is the DLNA support. Power management's another big one that Sony has. So they have a stamina mode, which basically disables all mobile data when the screen is off, and has low battery. And I can tell you, the stamina mode and the low battery, these are amazing. I had it when I came back from work. I had the battery to around 2% one time, and I had it up on 2%, and I left it there for maybe from 6:30 to around 11:30, and came back and the battery was still at 2%. So the standby it really held the battery really well. So that's actually, these ones are really good to have on there and good to use. This also gives you the option of having you can see the percent sign in the top there. Some custom ROM do it. The only problem is you have the battery. You have to go through another step to actually get the battery settings. So that's a bit of a hassle. They have their own little settings. So you have your dialer app is all quite whiteified and everything. You can do your call logs and everything there, and so it's pretty standard affair. They have their own. They kind of white, and with the recent Honami leaks, it looks like they're going with a bit more white. So that's kind of not a bad thing, but it's not detrimental to the LCD screen. The Sony apps that come on here. There's a Walkman. This is a bit. I love the Walkman app. It looks good. It has good. It takes advantage of the clear audio because it has their own. They have their own clear audio here. Settings. Oh, clear audio plus. So it does actually improve the sound. What did annoy me is I do use Music Unlimited. By some freak of nature, I was able to get it really cheap. So I've been using Music Unlimited. And on the ZL, when I got 4.2.2, I got an update to the Walkman app that integrated Music Unlimited into it, which was really nice and made it really useful. I haven't got the update yet, so that's kind of an annoyance that I haven't got that yet. But if you really want that, they will be updating the Z to 4.2 and even to 4.3, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. All of these things, so basically the movies and the albums, they're all trying to integrate with their online services, so Play Memories for their albums, so they can upload your pictures to there, and movies is synced up with your Video Unlimited account, so you can purchase and then it'll have, and I think it has Video Unlimited there, but other than that, that's basically all that one has in there. When you play the music, it does give you the lock screen controls, so that's how that one works anyways. So that's, in general, that's it for the OS. It's a good, clean, quick OS. I guess I should show the benchmarks. I didn't benchmark too great, but it benchmarked right in line with the Nexus 4, which is not too unsurprising. They do both use the same. And got the bar chart. So I got it in there. It does have the same chipset and everything in there, so it's not too surprising. But it's it runs pretty well. So I mean, and I have no complaints about how it runs. I've enjoyed it at least. So yeah, that's basically on the side for the OS. There's not much to complain about. There's a few things they could fix in. They do fix in 4.2.2, but in general, it's a pretty clean interface, and you're not going to go wrong with it. If you want a stalker experience, if you want some of the bells and whistles, then maybe you want one of the Samsung or HTC ones. One other thing that Sony has done differently with their launcher is they included the small apps, which is what they've been known for. So if you look in the multitasking menu, you can scroll in along here through all these different ones. You can swipe away, and then they have down here a set of different mini apps. So here, and then you can do the calculator, and you can do different calculations or whatever you want. This is really nice. It can move around. You can scroll around your screen. It doesn't get in the way. If you want to hide it, you can hide it like that. And then pull it in here, and then you just get rid of it if you don't need it. I find myself using the timer a lot, so I'll set some 1 minute timer or something. Let's not set any hours here. So I can start the timer. I can go into different applications. I can hide it here, and then I can do something else, open up Walkman, for example, and then it's still there, hide it, move it around, do all sorts of things. So, and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's actually really a nice addition that they've added to here. That you can do different things, like you scroll on here, then you can add installed small apps. So you can search the Play Store for small apps, or you can grab ones that are already installed. On my tablet, you can do widgets as well, but I don't know if they have it here, or if they're going to support it later on. But they do have just the small apps at the time right now. So now we're going to go over the camera app. So the camera in here is a 12 megapixel camera. It has a few. So if I can open up the app here. So it has this several different options in here. It has Xperia Auto, normal, video camera, burst shots, and everything. Xperia Auto actually works really well. It'll automatically track. It'll look at the lighting and everything in the picture, and it'll automatically pick a certain setting that works well. And for the most part, it works really well. I have it in here. So this is actually the 9 megapixel. If you want 12 megapixel, you got to set it, but then it puts it in this 4:3 aspect ratio. Not really sure why they didn't have a 12 megapixel in the 16:9 aspect ratio, but I guess that's what that's how the sensor works. So this Xperia Auto does work very well. Like we do have a newborn in the house. Well, actually not newborn anymore. He's getting pretty old now. But when I'm using it, it will actually scan the face and say infant. So it will actually have the settings and everything right. If you want to get the granular controls, you have to go to normal, and then you'll get HDR mode is in here. You can set all your other things. It has a shutter smile, so it can take a picture based on how well or how big the smile is. This is how you adjust the quick launch. So the quick launch from the home screen, we swipe and then it'll do this action. So right now it just opens the camera, but you can open the camera and take a picture at the same time if you want to. You can adjust the white balance, image stabilization, metering, geotagging. You can do touch capture, and where it stores to. So internal storage or SD card. You can set the exposures and everything. Burst shot is one of the nice things that you don't have in the stock camera. So it's actually nice. In the stock camera on Android. So it's nice to have that in there, especially with Auto Awesome now that you can take those shots. It has a sweep panorama, so similar to what you see with most of the other panorama ones. You just sweep to take the picture. Video camera, scene modes as well, and then the front camera and front video. So it has all those different settings. You can set here's to take the picture. And then here's to record a video. So you can tap up here to actually enter the previews. So here's the pictures and everything. So, and then if you want to go back, you just go tap it and go back. So it's pretty good controls. I can't complain. It may not move quite as well as the Android one, although that one has still got its own problems. But it does actually have a lot of controls in here. It doesn't have too much stuff, but it has enough that actually you can do most any kind of shots. And with the Auto Awesome with Google Plus, if you're using Google Plus now, that'll give you animated GIFs, so you don't need that Zoe stuff that HTC always tries to do. One thing to note as well, the shots that have been taken with it, I'll have a look at them. I've taken them both and I've compared them to the Nexus 4, and so far they do look a lot better than the Nexus 4 shots. I'll have a detailed comparison on the website, showing picture by picture, so you get an idea. One of the main things that phones have to come with nowadays is LTE. So this is no exception. This phone does come with LTE, and that's actually what I heard was the reason why this phone took so long to come into Canada, because it was released around the same time as the ZL, but it did not come to Canada until just recently, and that's because there was some issues with the LTE radios and agreements. I'm not really quite sure that's exactly what it was, but that's what I heard that was it is. So the LTE in here is quite fast. It's not much different than some of the other ones that we've seen. So I can go and run a quick benchmark or a speed test benchmark here. I'm on LTE right now, so. And it does connect with Wi-Fi as well, but that's obviously most everything. So here it's it's okay, I guess. I've been getting better. I've been getting around 60 megs in this house, so it moves pretty quick. You're not going to complain. The only problem I do have is at my office, both Bell and Telus don't work, so I get 0 bars at my office, which does drain the battery, but it has held itself quite well, anyways. But outside of my office, it does have pretty good download speeds, so I can't really complain. Call connections, they're pretty average. I can't complain about those. So yeah, that's the speed test. And so this is the review of the Sony Xperia Z. As you can see, it's a pretty capable phone. Good design, not great ergonomics. They could work on that. But it's good design. It's got quite decent power on the hood. You're not going to have a problem. The customizations are minimal to the OS, and everything is actually a pretty good addition. It's not too much stuff or getting too bloated. So it's a nice addition. When 4.2.2 comes on this one, and hopefully 4.3 comes, you'll see a lot more improvements on it. I know because I've used it with the ZL. But other than that, it's a very good phone. You're not going to go wrong with this one, and definitely with the waterproof, you're not going to have to worry about it. You can take it in the shower, or you can take it in the rain, or you can do whatever. You probably can't go swimming with it just because it does have that 1 meter of water. You don't know how deep you can go, but you can take it in a lot of other things, anyways. So it'd be nice if they had that shutter button. That'd be good if they had that, but it's not a deal breaker. If you really want it, then you can wait out and see what they're going to announce September 4th. But anyways, this is, can't complain with this device. If you want to read the full review, you can check out down in the info below. Then you can check out everything, including the sample pictures from this and the Nexus 4. But other than that, you can check out some more of my videos and subscribe, and everything. Anyways, thanks for watching.